The morning sun painted the sky orange over New Eden Research Station. Dr. Lisa Kane stood at the window of the main lab, watching the alien landscape wake up. Strange purple plants swayed in the breeze. Flying creatures that looked like jellyfish floated between the twisted trees. This planet was nothing like Earth, but it was becoming home. Rex lay by the door. His massive black and brown body stretched across the entrance. A German shepherd's ears twitched at every sound. His eyes followed every movement outside. Lisa smiled. Rex had been with them for 8 months now, and he still acted like he was guarding the most important place in the universe. Morning. Big guy, Lisa said, scratching behind his ears. Rex's tail wagged once, but he didn't take his eyes off the window. That was Rex, always watching. Always ready. The research station wasn't much to look at. 5 buildings connected by covered walkways. Solar panels on every roof. A communication tower that reached toward the purple sky. Home to 12 humans and 1 very special dog on a planet 47 light years from Earth. Jake Morrison walked into the lab, carrying a cup of coffee that steamed in the cool morning air. The security officer was a big man with kind eyes and careful hands. Rex liked Jake. The dog's tail wagged harder when Jake knelt down to pet him. "Sleep well, boy?" Jake asked. Rex pushed his head against Jake's hand. "Yeah, me too. Quiet night." But Rex hadn't slept much. For 3 days now, something had felt wrong. The air smelled different. The sounds at night weren't quite right. Rex couldn't explain it to the humans, but his instincts screamed danger. Amy Collins joined them, her blonde hair tied back for another day of work. She was the other security officer, small but tough as nails. Rex respected her. She moved like a fighter, even when she was just walking around the station. "Any word from Commander Turner?" Amy asked Jake. Jake shook his head. "Radio check isn't for another hour." But he seemed worried yesterday. All that talk about energy readings from Vorthan space. Lisa looked up from her computer. The Vorthans have stayed on their side of the border for 2 years. Why would they start trouble now? "Maybe they think we're weak," Amy said. Small station. Only 2 security officers. No weapons except our sidearms and a couple of rifles. Rex's ears perked up. The humans were talking about danger again. They'd been doing that more often lately. Rex understood more than they knew. The genetic changes that made him stronger and faster had also made him smarter. Much smarter. Dr. Ben Parker walked in, yawning and rubbing his eyes. The botanist always worked late studying the local plants. "Morning, everyone. Rex, buddy, you look tired." Rex wasn't tired. He was alert. There was a difference, but humans sometimes missed these things. The day passed like most others. Lisa worked on her geological surveys. Ben studied his plants. The other researchers did their jobs. Jake and Amy walked the perimeter and checked the sensors. Rex followed them, sniffing at places where the sensors couldn't reach. At the eastern fence, Rex stopped. His nose caught something new. A smell that didn't belong. Amy noticed him freeze. "What is it, boy?" she asked. Rex growled low in his throat. He'd smelled this scent once before, during his training on Earth. It was in a file they'd shown him. Vorthan, the reptile creatures from the next star system. But the scent was faint, old, maybe from days ago. Amy trusted Rex's instincts. She made a note to check that section again. Tonight. Evening came with 2 moons rising over the research station. The purple one was full. The smaller blue one was just a sliver. Rex liked the way the double moonlight made everything look magical. Dr. Katie Wells was cooking dinner for everyone. The smell of real Earth food filled the main building. Rex got a bowl of his special food, high protein, extra vitamins. Everything a genetically enhanced dog needed to stay strong. After dinner, the humans gathered in the common room. They talked and laughed. Some played cards. Others read books on their tablets. Rex lay in the center of the room, watching all. Of them, these were his people. His pack. He would protect them with his life. Jake stood up to start his night watch. "Come on, Rex. Want to walk the fence?" Rex was already moving toward the door. Night watch was serious business. They walked the perimeter together. Jake carried his rifle and a flashlight. Rex used his enhanced senses to check for anything wrong. The night was quiet, except for the sounds of local animals and the hum of the generators dot at the eastern fence. Rex stopped again. The Vorthen scent was stronger now, fresher. His hackles rose. Jake noticed immediately. "What's wrong, boy?" Rex stared into the darkness beyond the fence. Something was out there. Multiple somethings. Moving carefully. Trying to stay hidden. Jake raised his rifle and activated his comm unit. "Amy, this is Jake. Rex is picking up something at grid 7. Might want to get everyone on alert." In the darkness, reptilian eyes watched the human and his animal companion. The Vorthen scouts had been observing the station for days. They saw weak creatures with primitive weapons. They saw easy prey. They didn't understand what Rex really was. They thought he was just a pet. That mistake would cost them everything. Rex's low growl carried across the night air. The sound made the Vorthen scouts nervous, but they stayed hidden. Soon, their warship would arrive. Soon, this human camp would fall. Rex felt the danger coming like a storm on the horizon. His enhanced senses picked up the electrical signatures of alien technology. His modified intelligence processed the tactical situation. His loyalty to his pack burned in his chest like fire. The humans had no idea what was about to happen. But Rex knew, and Rex was ready. The attack came at 3 in the morning when most humans were asleep. Rex wasn't sleeping. He never really slept during his watch. His enhanced hearing caught the whisper of alien engines cutting through the night sky long before human ears could detect them. Jake was walking the north perimeter when Rex suddenly went rigid. Every muscle in the big dog's body tensed. His ears stood straight up. His nose twitched as he caught the scent of burning metal and something else. Something reptilian and wrong. "What is it, boy?" Jake whispered, raising his rifle. Rex's answer was a low growl that seemed to come from the center of his chest. It was a sound Jake had never heard before. It made his skin crawl and his heart beat faster. The first plasma bolt lit up the night like green lightning. It sizzled past Jake's head and melted a hole in the fence behind him. Jake dove to the ground, pulling Rex with him. "Contact! Contact!" Jake shouted into his comm unit. "We are under attack." The Vorthen strike force dropped from their ships like deadly rain. 30 warriors in black armor, moving fast and silent across the research station grounds. They were 7 feet tall with scales that gleamed in the moonlight. Their eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. These were elite soldiers. They had conquered 12 worlds in the last 5 years. Humans were supposed to be easy prey, soft, weak, emotional creatures who would surrender quickly when faced with superior force. Amy Collins burst out of the security building, her rifle already firing. She was a good shot, but the Vorthen's armor was thick. Her bullets sparked off their chest plates without doing much damage. "Jake, where are you?" she called out. "Grid 7. They came from the east. Jake rolled behind a storage shed. Rex pressed against his side. "There's too many of them." Inside the main building, Dr. Lisa Kane was wide awake and moving fast. The attack sirens were screaming. Emergency lights bathed everything in red. She ran from room to room, waking up her team. "Everyone up. We're under attack. Get to the shelter." "Doctor." Ben Parker stumbled out of his room, confused and scared. "What's happening?" Who's attacking us? Questions later? Move now. Lisa pushed in toward the emergency shelter, built into the basement of the main lab. The other researchers were awake now, grabbing essential equipment and rushing toward safety. Dr. Katie Wells helped the older scientists move faster. Everyone was scared, but they were also well trained. They had practiced this drill dozens of times. Outside, the battle was getting worse. The Vorthans moved like professionals, using cover and coordinated fire to push the humans back. Their plasma weapons turned metal into slag and concrete into dust. Jake and Rex were pinned down behind the storage shed. Plasma bolts kept hitting the building, eating away at their cover. Rex could smell the fear on Jake, but also his determination to protect the others. "We need to get to the main building," Jake said. "Cover me, boy," Rex understood. He burst from cover and ran straight at the nearest Vorthan warrior. The alien raised his weapon, but Rex was faster than anything the reptile had ever seen. The enhanced dog hit the warrior like a missile, knocking him down and buying Jake precious seconds. To move, Jake sprinted toward the main building while Rex danced around the fallen Vorthan. The alien tried to grab him, but Rex's enhanced reflexes made him impossible to catch. Claws that could tear through steel raked across the warrior's armor. Amy was providing covering fire from the security building, but she was running low on ammunition. 3 Vorthans were closing in on her position. "Amy, fall back," Jake called out. "Get to the main building." "What about you?" "Rex and I will cover you." It was a desperate plan, but it was all they had. Amy made a run for it, her rifle chattering as she fired at anything that moved. Jake and Rex flanked the Vorthans, trying to draw their attention away from the fleeing security officer. The plan worked, but barely. Amy made it to the main building just as the Vorthans' return fire turned the security building into a burning wreck. Inside the main lab, Lisa was sealing the last of her people into the emergency shelter. It was a small room with thick walls and its own air supply, designed to protect against accidents, not alien invasions. "How long can we hold out?" Dr. Parker asked. "The shelter has food and water for 3 days," Lisa replied. "Commander Turner will send help when we miss our check-in." But 3 days felt like forever with plasma fire lighting up the night outside. Jake and Rex made it to the main building. Just as the Vorthans surrounded it, the alien warriors were confident now. They had the humans trapped. Victory was within reach. War leader Jeff stepped forward. He was bigger than the others, with scars across his scaled face and eyes that glowed like hot coals. He activated a translator device. "Humans of the research station," his voice boomed across the compound, "you are defeated. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to the laws of war. Resist further, and you will all die." Inside the building, Lisa heard the demand. She looked at Jake and Amy, who had taken defensive positions at the windows. They were brave, but they were also outnumbered 15-1. "What do we do?" Amy asked. Lisa was about to answer when Jake spoke up. His voice was calm, but deadly serious. "We fight. These things made a big mistake coming here." He looked down at Rex, who was pressed against his side. "They don't understand what they're dealing with." Jake knelt down and looked Rex in the eyes. The dog's intelligence was obvious now. No ordinary animal could have moved like that during the firefight. No ordinary animal could have understood the tactical situation so quickly. "Rex, listen to me carefully," Jake said. "I'm going to remove all your safety protocols. Full combat. Authorization. Do you understand?" Rex's tail wagged once. He understood perfectly. Jake pulled out a small device from his pocket. It looked like a simple remote control, but it was connected to the bioimplants in Rex's brain. The safety systems that kept the enhanced dog's more dangerous abilities locked away. Protect the pack, Rex, no matter what it takes. Jake pressed the button. The change in Rex was immediate and terrifying. His muscles swelled as bioenhancers flooded his system. His already sharp teeth grew longer. His claws extended and hardened. His eyes began to glow with an inner light, but the most important change was in his mind. All the careful programming that kept him docile and obedient was gone. Rex was now operating on pure instinct and intelligence, with the genetic memories of 1,000 generations of wolves flowing through his enhanced brain. Outside, War Leader ZSSKTH was growing impatient. You have 30 seconds to surrender. Rex padded to the door of the main building. He looked back at Jake once, his glowing eyes full of deadly purpose. Then he slipped out into the night. The Vorthans were about to learn that humans didn't just keep pets. They created weapons. And they had just unleashed the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. A weapon that loved them more than life itself. Rex moved through the darkness like a ghost made of teeth and claws. His enhanced senses painted a perfect picture of the battlefield in his mind. 30 Vorthan warriors surrounded the main building. 5 more guarded their landing shuttles. Heat signatures, heartbeats, breathing patterns, Rex could track them all. The safety protocols were gone. The careful training that taught him to be gentle with humans was locked away. What remained was pure predator intelligence, enhanced beyond anything nature had ever created. War Leader ZSSKH raised his plasma rifle toward the main building. Time is up, humans. Prepare to... The first Vorthan warrior simply vanished. 1 moment, Scout Hask was standing at his post near the eastern fence. The next moment, there was only empty air and a brief scratching sound from the maintenance tunnel beneath his feet. Hask, report, the war leader commanded through his silence. Hask, respond immediately. More silence. Rex was already moving through the underground tunnels that connected all the buildings. For 8 months, he had explored every inch of the research station. He knew where every pipe ran, where every cable was buried, where every maintenance access point could be found. The Vorthans had studied the surface of the station. They had not thought to map what lay beneath. The second warrior disappeared while checking on his missing comrade. Trooper Vess approached Hask's last position carefully, his weapon ready. He found disturbed ground and the scent of something. Wild and dangerous. Rex struck from above, dropping through a ventilation grate like a falling star. His enhanced claws went through Vorthan armor like paper. His jaws closed around the warrior's throat before the alien could scream. 2 down. 28 to go. Squad leaders, report. War Leader Zest was beginning to sound nervous. Alpha. Squad, all present. Beta Squad, all present. Gamma Squad. Gamma Squad, we are missing 2 warriors. Rex smiled, if dogs could smile. The Vorthans were starting to understand that something was wrong. But they didn't understand what. Inside the main building, Jake was monitoring the situation through the security cameras. Most of the external cameras had been destroyed in the first attack, but a few internal ones still worked. I can see movement in the tunnels, he reported to Lisa and Amy. Rex is using the maintenance system. Is he hurt? Lisa asked. Jake watched a shadow move past another camera. No, he's hunting. The third Vorthan warrior died while investigating. A strange noise near the power generator. Rex had learned to use the station's automated systems to his advantage. Motion sensors that responded to his biometric signature. Lights that turned on and off at his command. Even the air conditioning system obeyed him. The generator room went dark just as Trooper Kess entered. The warrior activated his helmet lights, but Rex was already behind him. The enhanced dog's claws found the gap between armor plates with surgical. Precision. 3 down. 27 to go. Something is picking us off, radioed Squad Leader Tonuses. I recommend we group together," and his transmission cut off in a burst of static. Rex had torn through the communications cable that ran past the warrior's position. In the darkness, Thomas never saw what killed him. 4 down. 26 to go. War leader ZSS Kate H was no longer confident. In 30 years of warfare, he had never faced an enemy like this. His thermal imaging showed brief flashes of movement, but nothing solid, nothing he could target. "All units, fall back to the shuttles," he commanded. "Prepare for orbital bombardment." But Rex wasn't finished with them yet. The dog had found something interesting in the research station's computer systems. Dr. Lisa's geological surveys included detailed maps of underground cave systems, seismic sensors placed throughout the area, and most importantly, controlled demolition charges designed for mining operations. Rex's enhanced intelligence processed the information quickly. The Vorthans wanted to retreat to their shuttles, but their landing site was directly over a natural cave system. A cave system that now contained several tons of mining explosives. The 5th warrior died when Rex triggered a localized power surge that overloaded the aliens' armor systems. The 6th and 7th were taken out when the dog caused a section of fencing to collapse on them. "This is impossible," War Leader Shist roared. "What kind of creature are we fighting?" From the main building, Jake was watching the systematic destruction of the Vorthan force with growing amazement. Rex wasn't just attacking randomly. He was using strategy, planning, thinking several moves ahead. "He's not just a dog anymore," Jake said quietly. "He's become something else." The 8th warrior fell into a maintenance pit that Rex had opened remotely. The 9th was electrocuted when the dog rerouted power through the metal walkway he was standing on. "Retreat! Retreat!" War Leader ZSS Kate ordered. "All units to the shuttles." The surviving Vorthan warriors ran for their landing site, but Rex was already there waiting for them. He had spent the last hour preparing the perfect trap. The shuttles were parked in a clearing surrounded by rocky outcroppings. It looked like a safe defensive position. But underneath the clearing was a complex cave system that Rex had packed with explosives. The warriors reached their shuttles and began boarding quickly. They thought they were safe. Rex waited until all the surviving Vorthans were in the clearing. Then he triggered the charges. The explosion lit up the night sky like a second sun. Rock and earth flew hundreds of feet into the air. When the dust settled, the clearing was gone. In its place was a crater 50 feet deep, but Rex wasn't finished yet. He had left one shuttle intact, one way for the Vorthans to call for help. Because he wanted them to call for help, War Leader Gest crawled from the wreckage of his command shuttle, his armor cracked and his body broken. He was the only survivor of the 35 warriors who had attacked the research station. Rex emerged from the smoke and dust, his eyes glowing like coals in the darkness. The enhanced dog approached the wounded Vorthan slowly, deliberately. The war leader reached for his sidearm, but Rex was faster. Claws raked across the alien's wrist, sending the weapon flying. Rex could have killed him then, could have ended it quickly. Instead, the dog stepped back and waited. What are you?" War Leader Gist gasped. Rex tilted his head, studying the defeated warrior. Then he did something that chilled the alien's blood. He walked to the intact shuttle and activated its communication system with a touch of his paw. The biometric locks recognized him as a member of the research station. Rex was authorized to use any equipment on the base. The communication channel opened. Rex stepped back and looked at the war leader expectantly. The alien understood. He was supposed to report back to his fleet. He was supposed to tell them what had happened here. With shaking hands, War Leader Jeffeth activated his comm unit. "Fleet Command, this is War Leader Jeff. Report, War Leader. Is the human camp secure?" She just looked at Rex, who was sitting patiently beside the shuttle, like any normal dog. Except his eyes were glowing, and his claws were stained with Vorthan blood. Negative, Fleet Command. The mission has failed. All warriors are lost. Impossible. How could 35 elite warriors be defeated by a handful of humans? The war leader's voice cracked. It wasn't the humans. It was their their pet. Rex's. Tail wagged once. Then he padded back toward the main building, leaving the terrified Vorthan alone with his shame and his fear. The message would reach the Vorthan fleet within hours, and with it, the first report of humanity's most dangerous secret. They didn't just keep pets, they created demons, and those demons would do anything to protect their pack. Admiral Krext received the transmission aboard the Vorthan flagship Death's Claw 3 hours after the attack failed. The massive warship hung in orbit above the planet, waiting for news of victory. Instead, they got the impossible. Play the message again, Admiral Krexith commanded. The bridge fell silent as War Leader Jith's broken voice filled the command center. All warriors are lost. It wasn't the humans. It was their pet. A pet? Admiral Krexith's scaled fist slammed down on his command chair. 35 elite warriors defeated by an animal? His tactical officer, a scarred veteran named Gosseth, shook his head. Admiral, with respect, this makes no sense. Earth animals are weak, primitive. How could one creature? I don't care how, the Admiral roared. I care that we look like fools. The entire fleet is watching. The High Command expects results. On the planet below, Rex was back at the research station. The enhanced dog had returned to his position by the main lab entrance, as if nothing had happened. His bio-enhancements were already healing the minor cuts and bruises from the battle. By morning, there would be no sign he had been injured at all. Jake found him there when the all-clear was given. The security officer knelt down and ran his hands through Rex's fur, checking for wounds. You saved us all, boy, Jake whispered. But I'm not sure the galaxy is ready for what you really are. Rex's eyes were normal again, brown and warm and trusting. The glowing intelligence was still there, but hidden behind the mask of an ordinary dog. He licked Jake's face and wagged his tail. Dr. Lisa Kane emerged from the emergency shelter with the rest of the research team. They stared at the destruction around the station. Melted buildings, crater marks from plasma weapons, and in the distance, the massive hole where the Vorthan shuttles had been. How many of them were there? Dr. Ben Parker asked. 35. Amy replied, checking her rifle. Rex got them all. All of them? Dr. Katie Wells looked at the dog with new respect. How is that possible? Jake activated his emergency beacon. I'll explain later. Right now we need to call for backup. The Vorthans might send more ships. Colonel Pete Brooks was 3 hours away aboard the heavy cruiser Defiance when he received Jake's distress call. The Marine commander had seen combat on 6 different worlds, but he had never heard a report like this one. Sergeant, did that transmission say one dog killed 35 alien warriors? Yes, sir. That's what the report says. Colonel Brooks studied the tactical display. The research station was deep in disputed territory. If the Vorthans were attacking human settlements, it could mean war. All hands, prepare for combat operations. We're going in hot. But Rex wasn't finished with the Vorthans yet. Admiral Krext had made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his short life. Since ground troops had failed, he would use orbital bombardment to destroy the research station and everyone in it. Prepare the plasma cannons, he commanded. Target all human structures. I want nothing left but glass and ash. The mighty guns of the Death's Claw began to charge. Each cannon could level a city block. Together, they would erase the research station from existence. Rex felt the change in the electromagnetic field as the ship's weapons powered up. His enhanced senses detected the buildup of energy in orbit. He understood what was coming. The dog padded to the main lab's computer terminal. His biometric signature gave him access to all the station's systems. But Rex wasn't interested in the station's defenses. He was interested in the terraforming equipment. New Eden Research Station wasn't just studying the planet. They were preparing to change it. Massive machines buried deep underground could alter the planet's geology, create mountains, carve rivers, reshape continents. Rex's enhanced intelligence processed the possibilities. The terraforming equipment wasn't designed as a weapon, but in the right hands, anything could be a weapon. The first orbital bombardment. Beam lanced down from space, striking the communications tower. The metal structure vaporized instantly, sending a pillar of fire into the night sky. Rex was already moving, his paws dancing across the computer keyboard with impossible speed. The terraforming controls accepted his commands without question. Deep beneath the planet's surface, enormous machines came to life. The second bombardment beam destroyed the main power generator. The third turned the security building into a pool of molten metal. Admiral Krexith watched from orbit with satisfaction. The humans are learning the price of defying the Vorthan Empire, he said. Then the planet began to shake. Rex had activated seismic charges placed throughout the continental shelf. Not the small mining charges he had used against the shuttles. These were massive geological modification devices designed to create earthquake activity across thousands of square miles. The research station sat on a stable plain surrounded by ancient rock formations. Rex turned those formations into weapons. Columns of stone erupted from the ground like spears thrown by giants. The bombardment beams from orbit struck the rising rocks and were scattered harmlessly into the atmosphere. What had been a clear target became a maze of towering peaks and deep valleys. Admiral Krex stared at his tactical display in disbelief. What is happening down there? Admiral, the planet's geological structure is changing. The target area is becoming unstable. Impossible. Planets don't just change their shape. But this one was. Rex had turned the terraforming equipment into the ultimate defensive system. Every bombardment beam that reached the surface was blocked by newly formed rock barriers. The flat plain around the research station became a nightmare landscape of stone spires and hidden valleys. Inside the station, Dr. Lisa Kane watched the geological chaos through the few remaining windows. The terraforming equipment is active, but who's controlling it? Jake looked at Rex, who was still sitting calmly by the computer terminal. The dog's tail wagged once. I think our friend here is smarter than we realized, Jake said. The orbital bombardment continued for another hour, but it was useless. Every shot was blocked by the ever-changing landscape. Admiral Krext finally ordered his guns to stop firing. Sir, we're wasting energy, his weapons officer reported. The target is completely protected. Then we'll land troops directly on the surface, the Admiral decided. Send down the assault shuttles. Admiral, the terrain is too unstable for landing. Our shuttles can't navigate those rock formations. Admiral Krext stared at the tactical display. Somehow, one research station had become an impregnable fortress. And according to the reports, it was all because of a single animal. Get me a communication channel to the surface. He ordered. The transmission crackled through the research station's emergency radio. Admiral Krexith's voice was tight with barely controlled rage. Humans of the research station, I am Admiral Krexith of the Vorthan Imperial Fleet. You have humiliated our forces and killed our warriors. But you cannot hide behind your stone walls forever. Surrender now or face the consequences. Jake picked up the radio microphone. He looked at Rex, who was watching him with those intelligent brown eyes. This is Security Officer Jake Morrison, he replied. We didn't start this fight, Admiral, but we're going to finish it. You are 12 humans with primitive weapons. I have a fleet of warships. Jake smiled. You're right about the 12 humans, but you're wrong about our weapons. He knelt down and scratched Rex behind the ears. We don't need guns when we have something better. We have family. Rex's tail wagged harder. In the distance, Colonel Brooks and his Marines were still 2 hours away. But Rex wasn't worried about reinforcements. He had already won the battle. Now he was going to win the war. The enhanced dog padded back to the computer terminal. There were more terraforming systems to activate, more weapons to create from the planet itself. And somewhere in orbit, Admiral Krext was beginning to understand a terrible truth. The humans hadn't just trained an animal to fight for them. They had created a creature that could think, plan, and adapt. A creature that could turn an entire planet into a weapon. A creature that would never stop fighting to protect its pack. Colonel Pete Brooks arrived to find a planet transformed. Where once there had been rolling plains and gentle hills, massive stone spires now reached toward the stars. The research station sat in the center of it all, protected by walls of rock. That seemed to grow from the planet's very bones. My God, the Marine colonel whispered as his ship descended through the atmosphere. What happened here? His communications officer was monitoring multiple channels. Sir, I'm picking up Vorthan Fleet communications. They're retreating. Retreating? The entire fleet? Yes, sir. Admiral Krext H is ordering all ships to fall back to the border. He's declaring the mission a complete failure. Colonel Brooks studied the tactical display. A dozen Vorthan warships were indeed pulling back from the planet. Ships that could have glassed the entire surface were running away from one small research. Station, get me a channel to the station, he ordered. Jake's voice crackled through the radio. Colonel Brooks, good to hear from you. We could use some backup down here. Son, from what I can see, you handled things just fine without us. Care to explain how you turned a research station into a fortress? Jake looked at Rex, who was once again lying peacefully by the lab entrance. Let's just say we had some help. From a very good friend. The Marine landing shuttles touched down in the only clear space available. A small area that seemed to have been deliberately left open near the research station. Colonel Brooks and his men disembarked to find the strangest battlefield they had ever seen. The ground was littered with pieces of Vorthan armor and weapons. Blast craters marked where plasma fire had struck stone walls. And in the center of it all was a massive crater where the alien shuttles had been destroyed. Dr. Lisa Kane met them at the station entrance. Behind her, Rex watched the new arrivals. With calm, intelligent eyes. Dr. Kane, Colonel Brooks said, I need a full report on what happened here. That might take a while, Lisa replied. It's not a story anyone will believe. But the evidence was all around them. The Colonel's technical teams found pieces of 35 different Vorthan warriors scattered across the area. Not one of them had died from human weapons. The wounds were from claws and teeth, from something that had hunted them down one by one. Sir, Sergeant Miller reported, we found one survivor. Vorthan command officer. He's asking to speak with the dog. Colonel Brooks raised an eyebrow. The dog? They found war leader ZSSKTH huddled in the remains of a shuttle, his armor cracked and his eyes wide with terror. When Rex approached, the alien warrior actually whimpered. Please, Shesk whispered. I delivered your message. I told them what you are. The fleet is retreating. What more do you want? Rex tilted his head, studying the broken warrior. Then he did something that made everyone present hold their breath. He sat down and wagged his tail once. It was a simple gesture, but war leader ZSSKTH understood its meaning. The hunt was over. Rex had made his point. Colonel Brooks knelt down beside the terrified alien. "What exactly did this dog do to your fleet?" Stai's voice shook as he answered. "It wasn't just what he did to us. It was how he did it. He used our own tactics against us. He turned the planet into a weapon. He thought like a general." The colonel looked at Rex with new understanding. "This isn't just an enhanced animal, is it? You've created something entirely new." Jake nodded. The genetic modifications were just the beginning. Rex learned, adapted, became something more than the sum of his parts. Over the next few hours, the full scope of Rex's victory became clear. The enhanced dog hadn't just defended the research station. He had sent a message that would echo across the galaxy. The Vorthan fleet's communications had been monitored by intelligence services on dozens of worlds. The story spread quickly through both human and alien space. A single Earth creature had defeated an entire invasion force using nothing but intelligence, loyalty, and the resources at hand. Dr. Ben Parker found Rex in his favorite spot by the lab entrance, looking like nothing more than a tired dog after a long day. Hard to believe this is the same creature that terrorized a Vorthan fleet. Rex's tail wagged, and he rolled over to have his belly scratched. The enhanced intelligence was still there, hidden behind brown eyes that seemed to sparkle with amusement. Colonel Brooks sent his report to Earth Command that evening. It was a report that would change how humanity approached both war and diplomacy. In the years to come, the research station's defense was successful due to the actions of a genetically enhanced canine designated Rex. The creature displayed tactical intelligence far beyond previous projections. Recommend immediate review of all companion animal enhancement programs. But the real impact was felt across alien space. Within days, every major government had updated their intelligence files on human settlements. A new line appeared in all. Tactical assessments. Confirm absence of enhanced companion species before engagement. The Vorthan High Command conducted a full investigation into the defeat. Admiral Krexith faced a military tribunal where he tried to explain how his fleet had been defeated by a single animal. It wasn't an animal, he insisted. It was something else. Something that could think and plan and adapt. The humans have created a new form of warfare. The tribunal didn't believe him at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. Recordings from the battle showed tactical thinking that surpassed most military commanders. The use of terraforming equipment as a defensive system demonstrated creativity that no ordinary creature could possess. The Vorthan Empire quietly withdrew from the disputed border region. They issued no official statements, but intelligence reports suggested they were developing new protocols for dealing with enhanced Earth species. Other alien governments took notice. The peaceful Altarian Council sent diplomatic messages asking about humanity's companion warrior program. The aggressive Zephyrian horde began avoiding human settlements entirely. Rex became the most famous dog in the galaxy, though he didn't seem to care. He still chased his tail sometimes. He still begged for treats from Dr. Katie Wells. He still liked having his ears scratched and his belly rubbed. But there were changes, too. His eyes held a deeper intelligence now. He understood more of what the humans said around him. Sometimes, late at night, Jake would find him at the computer terminal, quietly reviewing security protocols or studying star charts, planning our next adventure, boy. Jake would ask. Rex would wag his tail and return to his bed by the door. But the message was clear. He was always watching, always ready, always protecting his pack. 6 months later, the research station received its first official visitors since the attack. A delegation from Earth Command came to study Rex and learn from his victory. General Patricia Hayes, head of Enhanced Species Development, spent hours observing the dog. The implications are staggering. she told Dr. Kane. "We always knew the genetic modifications would create superior animals. We never imagined they would create something approaching human-level intelligence." "Rex isn't approaching human intelligence," Jake corrected. "He's gone beyond it. He thinks in ways we never could, sees patterns we miss, plans strategies that use resources we didn't even know we had." The general watched Rex playing fetch with some of the younger researchers. "And he's still loyal, too." "You, still protective, more than ever," Lisa replied. "The enhancements didn't change what he is at his core. They just made him better at being himself." That evening, the delegation gathered around the dinner table in the research station's common room. Rex lay in his usual spot, surrounded by his human family. To any observer, he looked like an ordinary dog enjoying an ordinary evening. But across the galaxy, military commanders were updating their tactical manuals. Diplomatic corps were revising their assessments of human capabilities. And somewhere, in the depths of space, alien scouts were marking human settlements with new warning codes. "Enhanced companion species present. Approach with extreme caution." General Hayes raised her glass in a toast. "To Rex, the dog who changed the galaxy." Rex's tail wagged once, and his eyes seemed to sparkle with secret knowledge. He had protected his pack. He had sent his message. And now, every creature in the galaxy knew one simple truth. Humans didn't just keep pets. They created family. And that family would fight for them with intelligence, creativity, and absolute loyalty. No one who threatened that family would escape to tell about it. The research station settled into its evening routine. Scientists worked on their projects. Security officers walked their patrols. And Rex took his position by the door, watching over them all with eyes that missed nothing. Somewhere in the distance, alien ships continued their flight away from human space, carrying with them the story of the day they learned to fear a dog named Rex. The galaxy had changed, and it would never be the same again.